What's up, everyone? What's happening, y'all? Trying to get everything. What's this? Wait. Nah, don't. All right. All right. Let's get back into this series. Ooh, May 26th, 2025. Welcome in, everyone, back to another live stream. You know what we have to do today? You know what we get to do today? Yeah, our privilege. Privilege to be able to read today, man. Make sure y'all take that blessing. You see, take the opportunity that you guys get to learn. You get to read. Yeah, man. But we are about to finish the Pentateuch today. We're going to finish the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. We're about to finish the Pentateuch. I think it's called the Pentateuch. I'm 100% sure it's called the Pentateuch. But let's get in here, because we do have work at 5:30. So I want to finish this by 3, because I want to go running afterwards and trying to get some workout in. Yeah, let's get into it. So Deuteronomy chapter 13. Deuteronomy chapter 13. Where's my book? I gotta bring my book so I can keep titling. What happened to it? Oh, did I not bring it in? Oh, I did not bring it in. Gosh dang it. I'll just write it on here. I did not bring my book. I guess I left it in my car yesterday. Hey, but let's get going here, because we don't have that much time. So, yeah. So let's get going here. Numbers. Wait, what? Why are we in Numbers? No, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 13, right? Yeah. Yep. Deuteronomy 13. Here we go. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or wonder, and the sign or wonder what he tells you come to pass, and if he says, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve him, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice. Give me 1 second. Ouch. Did I put it back in there? I'm gonna put it back in. If I did, that would be absolutely awesome. No, I did not. Where is I lost my earbud last night and I couldn't find it. Now I'm trying to find it. Where could it be though? Where could it be? Bruh. What the freak? I don't know. Gosh dang it though. Gosh, dang it. All right. So this is a good way to start out the chapter. Deuteronomy 13. Let's go 1 to. Let's just go 1 to 4. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice. You shall serve him and hold fast to him. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death because he has taught rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of slavery, to make you leave the way in which the Lord your God commanded you to walk. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. So kill him. You know what I'm saying? If somebody is trying to lead you astray from the commandments of the Lord, kill that guy. If your brother or your sister, no, if your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or your wife, if your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife you embrace, or your friend who is as your own soul, entices you, secretly saying, let us go and serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, some of the gods of the people who are around you, whether near you or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other. You shall not yield to him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pity on him, nor shall you spare him, nor shall you conceal him, but you shall kill him. Your hand shall be first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. You shall stone him to death with stones, because he sought to draw you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and never again do any such wickedness as this among you. So, I guess if your mother, man, if your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, that's crazy. So you should stone him. So let's go 6 to 12. If you hear in one of your cities, which the Lord your God is giving you to dwell there, that certain worthless fellows have gone out among you and have drawn away the inhabitants of their cities, saying, let us go and serve other gods which you have not known, then you shall inquire and make search, ask diligently. And behold, if it be true and certain that such an abomination has been done among you, you shall surely put the inhabitants of that city to the sword, devoting it to destruction, all who are in it and its cattle with the edge of the sword. You shall gather all its spoil in the midst of its open square, and burn the city, all its spoil, with fire as a whole burnt offering to the Lord your God. It shall be a heap forever. It shall not be built again. None of the devoted things which shall stick to your hand, none of the devoted things shall stick to your hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger and show you mercy and have compassion on you and multiply you as he swore to your fathers. If you obey the word of the Lord God, keeping all his commandments that I'm commanding you today and doing what is right in the sight of the Lord your God. So, there's some severe punishment for those who are trying to misguide others or trying to speak falsely, right? So the deserving is death in Deuteronomy 13. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Chapter 14. You are the sons of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves or make any baldness on your foreheads for the dead. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a people for his treasured possession out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. You shall not eat any abomination. These are the animals you may eat: ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roebuck, the wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, and the mountain sheep. Every animal that parts the hoof and has the hoof clove in two and chews the cud, among the animals you may eat. Yet of these that chew the cud or have the hoof of cloven, You shall not eat these, the camel, the hare, the rock badger, because they chew the cud but do not part the hoof, are unclean for you. And the pig, because it parts the hoof but does not chew the cud, is unclean for you. Their flesh you shall not eat, their carcasses you shall not touch. Of all that are in the water you may eat these, whatever has fins and scales you may eat, and whatever does not have fins and scales you shall not eat. It is unclean for you. You may eat all clean birds, but these are the ones that you shall not eat: the eagle, the bearded vulture, the black vulture, the kite, the falcon of any kind, every raven of any kind, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, the hawk of any kind, the little owl, the short-eared owl, the barn owl, the tawny owl, the carrion vulture, and the cormorant, the stork, the heron of any kind, the hoopoe, and all winged insects are unclean for you. They shall not be eaten. All clean winged things you may eat. You shall not eat anything that has died naturally. You may give it to the sojourner who is within your towns, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to a foreigner, for you are a people holy to the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. Verse 22 of Deuteronomy 14. You shall tithe all the yield of your seed that comes from the field year by year, and before the Lord your God in the place that he will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat the tithe of your grain, of your wine, and of your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and flock, that you may learn to fear the Lord your God always. And if the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry the tithe, when the Lord your God blesses you, because the place is too far from you, which the Lord your God chooses to set his name there, then you shall turn it into my money and bind up the money in your hand and go into the place that the Lord your God chooses and spend the money for whatever you desire, oxen or sheep or wine or strong drink, whatever your appetite craves, and you shall eat there before the Lord your God and rejoice, you and your household, and you shall not neglect the Levites who is within your towns, for he has no portion or inheritance with you. At the end of it, every 3 years you shall bring out all the tithe of your produce in the same year and lay it up within your towns. And the Levites, because he has no portion or inheritance with you, and the sojourner, the fatherless, the widow who are within your towns, shall come and eat, be filled, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands that you do. At the end of every 7 years, you shall grant a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release what he has lent to his neighbor. He shall not exact it of his neighbor, his brother, because the Lord's release has been proclaimed. Of a foreigner you may exact it, but whatever yours is with your brother, your hand shall release. But there will be no poor among you, for the Lord will bless you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you for inheritance to possess. If only you will strictly obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments that I command you today. For the Lord your God will bless you as he promised you, and you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. You shall rule over many nations, but they shall not rule over you. If among you one of your brothers should become poor in any of your towns within your land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not harden your heart or shut your hand against your poor brother, but you shall open your hand to him, lend him sufficient for his needs, whatever it may be. Take care, lest there be an unworthy thought in your heart, and you say, the 7th year, the year of release is near, and your eye look grudgingly on your poor brother, and you give him nothing, and he cry to the Lord against you, and you be guilty of sin. You shall give to him freely. Your heart shall not be grudging when you give to him, because for this the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in all that you undertake. For there will never cease to be poor in the land. Therefore I command you, you shall open wide your hand to your brother, to the needy and to the poor in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you, he shall serve you 6 years. And in the 7th year you shall let him go free from you. And when you let him go free from you, you shall not let him go empty-handed. You shall furnish him liberally out of your flock, out of your threshing floor, out of your winepress, as the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall give to him. You shall remember that you were slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Therefore I command you this today. But if he says to you, I will not go out from you, because he loves you and your household, since he is well off with you, then you shall take an awl and put it through his ear into the door, and he shall be your slave forever. So Deuteronomy 15, 16 to 18. And you shall take it all. I'm not exactly sure what that is. And put it through his ear into the door, and he shall be your slave forever. To your female slave you shall do the same. It shall not seem hard to you when you let him go free from you. For half the cost of a hired worker, he has served you 6 years. So the Lord your God will bless you in all that you do. All the firstborn males that are born of your herd flock you shall dedicate to the Lord your God. You shall do no work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You shall eat it, you and your household, before the Lord your God, year by year, at the place that the Lord will choose. But if it has any blemish, if it is lame or blind, or has any serious blemish, whatever, you shall not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. You shall eat it within your towns. The unclean and the clean alike may eat it, as though it were a gazelle or a deer. Only you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it out on the ground like water. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover to the Lord your God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night, and you shall offer the Passover sacrifice to the Lord your God from the flock or the herd, at the place that the Lord would choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread, the bread of affliction, for you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, that all the days of your life you may remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt. No leaven will be seen with you in all your territory for 7 days. Nor shall any of the flesh that you sacrifice on the evening of the first day remain all night until morning. You may offer the Passover sacrifice within any of your towns that the Lord your God is giving you. But at the place that the Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell it, there you shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening at sunset, at the time you come out of Egypt. And you shall cook it and eat it at the place that the Lord your God will choose. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. For 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day there shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord your God. You shall do no work on it. You shall count 7 weeks. Begin to count the 7 weeks from the time the sickle is first put to the standing grain. Then you shall keep the feast of weeks to the Lord your God, with the tribute of a freewill offering from your hand, which you shall give as the Lord your God blesses you. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, and your son and your daughter, your male servants, your female servants, the Levites who is within your towns, the sojourners, the fatherless, the widow who are among you, at the place that the Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and you shall be careful to observe these statutes. You shall keep the feast of booths 7 days when you have gathered in the produce of your threshing floor and your winepress. You shall rejoice in your feast, you and your sons, your daughters, your male servants, your female servants, the Levites, the sojourners, the fatherless, the widow who are within your towns. For 7 days you shall keep the feast to the Lord your God at the place that the Lord will choose, because the Lord your God will bless you in all your produce and in all the work in your hands, so that you will be together joyful. 3 days a year, all your males shall appear before the Lord your God at the place that he will choose, at the feast of unleavened bread, at the feast of weeks, at the feast of booths. They shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed. Every man should give as he is able, according to the blessings of the Lord your God that he has given you. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns that the Lord your God has given you. According to your tribes, they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice. You shall not show partiality. You shall not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. Justice and only justice. You shall follow that you may live and inherit the land that the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not plant any tree as an Asherah beside the altar of the Lord your God that you shall make, and you shall not set up a pillar which the Lord your God hates. You shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or a sheep in which is blemish, any defect whatever, for that is an abomination to the Lord your God. If there is found among you within any of your towns that the Lord your God is giving you, a man or a woman, what does who does that what is evil in the sight of the Lord your God and transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods and worshipped them, or the sun or the moon or any of the hosts of the heavens which have forbidden, and is told you, and you hear of it, then you shall inquire diligently, and if it is true and is certain that such an abomination has been done in Israel, then you shall bring out to your gates that man or woman who has done this evil thing. You shall stone that man or woman to death with stones on the evidence of 2 witnesses or of 3 witnesses. The one who is to die shall be put to death. A person shall not be put to death on the evidence of what witness? The hand of the witnesses shall be first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. So stone him if he's worshiping something else. Right, stone him. I mean, we can write that down, I guess. Deuteronomy 17. Let's just go 1 to 7. If any case arises requiring decision between one kind of a homicide and another, one kind of legal right in another, or one kind of assault in another, any case within your towns that is too difficult for you, then you shall rise and go up to the place that the Lord your God will choose, and you shall come to the Levitical priest and to the judge who is in office in those days, and you shall consult them, and they shall declare to you the decision. Then you shall do according to what they declare to you from that place that the Lord will choose, and you shall be careful to do according to all that they direct you, according to the instructions that they give you, and according to the decisions which they pronounce to you. And you shall not turn aside from the verdict that they declare to you, neither to the right hand or to the left. The man who acts presumptuously by not obeying the priest who stands to minister there before the Lord your God, or the judge, that man shall die. So you shall purge the evil from Israel, and all the people shall hear and fear and not act presumptuously. Presumptuously. What a long word. When you come to the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you possess it and dwell in it, and then say, I will set a king over me like all the nations that are around me. You may indeed set a king over you, whom the Lord your God will choose. One from among your brothers you shall set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you who is not your brother. Only he must not acquire many horses for himself, or cause the people to return to Egypt in order to acquire many horses, since the Lord has said to you, you shall never return that way again. And he shall not acquire many wives for himself, lest his hearts turn away, nor shall he acquire for himself excessive silver and gold. And when he sits on the throne of his kingdom, he shall write for himself a book, a copy of this law, approved by the Levitical priests, and it shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, and he may learn to fear the Lord his God by keeping all the words of this law and these statutes and doing them, that his heart may not be lifted up above his brothers, and that he may not turn aside from the commandments, neither to the right or to the left, so that he may continue long in his kingdom, he and his children in Israel. Oh, so he does talk about, like, if you get, so, let's just Deuteronomy 17. So it does talk about, like, the king. 14 to, let's just go 14 to 20. The Levitical priests, all the tribe of Levi, shall have no portion or inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the Lord's food offerings as their inheritance. They shall have no inheritance among their brothers. The Lord is their inheritance, as he promised them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people from those offering a sacrifice, whether an ox or a sheep. They shall give to the priest the shoulder and the 2 cheeks and the stomach. The first fruit of your grain, of your wine, of your oil, the first fleece of your sheep, you shall give him. For the Lord your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand and minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons for all time. And if a Levite come from any of your towns out of Egypt, where he lives, and he may come when he desires to the place that the Lord will choose and minister in the name of the Lord his God, like all his fellow Levites who stand up to minister there before the Lord, then he may have equal portions to eat, beside what he receives from the sale of his partimony. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his sons or his daughters as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a chamber or a medium or a necromancer, or who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord, and because of this abomination, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you're about to dispossess listen to fortune tellers and to diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do this. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. It is to him you shall listen, just as you desire of the Lord your God at Horeb on the day of the assembly, when you said, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, or see his great fire anymore, lest I die. And the Lord said to me, they are right in which they have spoken. I will rise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to all that I command him. And whoever will not listen to my words that he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name that I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that same prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, how may we know the word that the Lord has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the word does not come to pass or come true, that is a word that the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken in presumptuously. You need not be afraid of him. So this is the Deuteronomy 18. Let's go 20 to 22. Yeah, 20 to 22. It's been almost 30 minutes. When the Lord your God cuts off the nation from those land the Lord your God is giving you, and you dispossess them and dwell in their cities and in their houses, you shall set apart these 3 cities for yourselves in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. You shall measure the distance and divide it into 3 parts, the area of the land that the Lord your God gives you as a possession, so that any manslayer can flee to them. This is the provision for the manslayer who by fleeing there may save his life. If anyone kills his neighbor unintentionally without having hated him in the past, as when somebody goes into the forest with his neighbor to cut wood, and his hands wings this axe to cut down a tree, and the head slips from a hand and strikes his neighbor so that he dies. He may flee to one of these cities and live, lest the avenger of the blood is not in hot anger pursues the manslayer and overtake him, because the way is long, and stride him fatally, though the man did not deserve to die, since he had not hated his neighbor in the past. Therefore I command you, you shall set apart 3 cities, and if the Lord your God enlarges your territory as he has sworn to your fathers, and gives you all the land that he promised to give to your fathers, provided you are to carry to all careful to keep all his commandments which I command you today, by loving the Lord your God, and by walking ever in his ways. Then you shall add 3 other cities to these 3, lest innocent blood be shed in your hand, that the Lord your God is giving you for inheritance, and so the guilt of bloodshed be upon you. But if anyone hates his neighbor and lies in wait for him and attacks him and strikes him fatally so that he dies, and he flees into one of these cities, Then the elders of this city shall send and take him from there and hand him over to the avenger of blood, so that he may die. Your eye shall not pity him, but you shall purge the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, so that it may be well with you. You shall not move your neighbor's landmark, which the man of old hath set in the inhabitants that you will hold in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. A sinful witness shall not suffice against a person for any crime or for any wrong in connection with any offense that he has committed. Only on the evidence of two witnesses or of three witnesses shall a charge be established. If a malicious witness arises to accuse a person of wrongdoing, then both parties to the dispute shall appear before the Lord, before the priest and the judge who are in office in those days. The judge shall inquire diligently, and if the witness is a false witness, and has accused his brother falsely, then you shall do him as he had meant to do to his brother. So you shall purge the evil from your midst, and the rest shall hear and fear, and shall never again commit any such evil among you. Your eye shall not pity it. It shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. So whatever you do to somebody, it's you feel me, it's gonna backfire. It's supposed to be done to you. Um, so yeah. When you go out to war against your enemies and see horses and chariots and an army larger than your own, you shall not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God is with you, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And when you draw near to the battle, and the priest shall come forward and speak to the people, and shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, today you are drawing near for battle against your enemies. Let not your heart faint. Do not fear or panic or be in dread of them. For the Lord your God is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemy, to give you the victory. Then the officer shall speak to the people, saying, Is there any man who has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go back to his house, lest he die in battle, and another man dedicate it. And is there any man who has planted a vineyard and has not enjoyed its fruit? Let him go back to his house, and let him die, lest he die in battle, and another man enjoys his fruit. And is there any man who has betrothed a wife and has not taken her? Let him go back to his house, lest he die in battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further to the people and say, Is there any man who is fearing and faint-hearted? Let him go back to his house, lest he make the heart of his fellows melt like his own. And when the officers had finished speaking to the people, then commanders shall be appointed at the head of the people. When you draw near to a city to fight against it, offer terms of peace to it. And if it responds to you peacefully and it opens to you, then all the people who are found in it shall do forced labor for you and shall serve you. But if it makes no peace with you, but makes war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God gives it to your hand, you shall put all its male to the sword, but the woman and the little ones, the livestock, and everything else in the city, all its spoil, you shall take as splendor for yourself, and you shall enjoy the spoil of your enemies, which the Lord your God has given you. Thus you shall do to all the cities that are very far from you, which are not cities of the nations here. But in the cities of these people that the Lord your God is giving you for the inheritance, you shall save alive nothing that breathes. Wait. Thus you shall do to all the cities that are very far from you, which are not cities of the nations here. But in the cities of these people that the Lord your God is giving you for inheritance, you shall save alive nothing that breathes, but you shall devote them to complete destruction: the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded, that they may not teach you to do according to all their abominable practices that they have done for their gods, so you sin against the Lord your God. So these are the nations that you are to completely annihilate. Deuteronomy 20. Let's go 16 to 18. So the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. These are the people that the Israel is commanded by God to completely annihilate, to leave no breath, nobody alive, right? Kill everything. Completely deplete, completely destroy everything in it. When you besiege a city for a long time, making war against it in order to take it, you shall not destroy its street by wielding an axe against them. You may eat from them, but you shall not cut them down. Are the trees in the field human, that they should be besieged by you? Only the trees that you know are not trees for food you may destroy and cut down, that you may build sage works against the city that makes war with you until it falls. If in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess, someone is found slain, laying in the open country, and it is not known who killed him, then your elders and your judge shall come out, and they shall measure the distance to the surrounding cities. And the elders of the city that is nearest to the slain man shall take a heifer that has never been worked and that has not pulled in a yoke, and the elders of that city shall bring the heifer down to a valley with running water, which is neither plowed nor sown, and shall break the heifer's neck there in the valley. Then the priests, the sons of the Levi, shall come forward, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister to him and to bless him in the name of the Lord by their word. Every dispute and every assault shall be settled. And all the elders of that city nearest to the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifers whose neck was broken in the valley. They shall testify, our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it shed. Accept atonement, O Lord, for your people, whom you have redeemed, and do not set the guilt of innocent blood in the midst of your people Israel, so that their blood guilt may be atoned for. So you shall purge the guilt of innocent blood from your midst when you do what is right in the sight of the Lord. When you go out to war against your enemy, and the Lord your God gives them into your hand, and you take them captive, and you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and you desire to take her to be your wife, and you bring her home to your house, she shall shave her head and par her nails. And she shall take off the clothes in which she was captured, and shall remain in your house, and lament her father and her mother. Wait, and she shall remain in your house and lament her father and her mother a full month. After that you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. But if you no longer delight in her, you shall let her go where she wants, but you shall not sell her for money, nor shall you treat her as a slave, since you have humiliated her. Okay, write that down. Okay. Deuteronomy 21. Let's go 21. 21. Let's go 10 to 14. If a man has two wives, the one loved and the other unloved, and both the loved and the unloved have borne him children, and if the firstborn son belongs to the unloved, then on the day when he assigns his possessions as inheritance to his sons, he may not treat the son of the loved as the firstborn. It's prefaced to the son of the unloved, who is the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the unloved, by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the first fruits of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and though they discipline him, will not listen to them, then his father and his mother shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of the city at the gate of the place where he lives. And they shall say to the elders of the city, this is our son who is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey your voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of the city shall stone him to death with stones. So you shall purge the evil from your midst, and all Israel shall hear and fear. So, golly, that's crazy. Verse 18 to 21. And if a man has committed a crime punishable by death, and he is put to death, and you hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night on the tree, but you shall bury him the same day. For a hanged man is cursed by God. You shall not defile your land that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance. What? Deuteronomy 21 is coming in crazy. So it's an abomination. It's cursed. A hanged man is cursed by God. You shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep going astray and ignore them. You shall take them back to your brother, and if he does not live near you, and you do not know who he is, you shall bring it home to your house, and it shall stay with you until your brother seeks it. Then you shall restore it to him, and you shall do the same with his donkey, or with his garments, or with any lost things of your brother's which he loses, and you find. And you may not ignore it. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox fallen down by the way and ignore them. You shall help him to lift them up again. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak, for whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. If you come across a bird's nest in any tree or on the ground with young ones or eggs, and the mother sitting on the young or on the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young. You shall not let the mother go, but the young you may take for yourselves, that it may go well with you, that you may live long. Wait, what? What? That didn't make. What's going on here? 22, 6 to 8. When you build a new house, and you shall make a parapet for your roof, that you may not bring the guilt of blood upon your house, if anyone should fall from it. You shall not sow your vineyard with two kinds of seed, lest the whole yield be fortified. The crop that you have sown and the yield of the vineyard you shall not plow with an ox and a donkey together. You shall not wear clothes of wool and linen mixed together. You shall make yourself tassels on the four corners of the garment with which you cover yourself. All right, we're 45 minutes in. 45 minutes in. I kind of want to take a break. And get some food. Bro, why is this dead again? What time is it? It's like 1:05. So, and we're on chapter 22. All right, verse 13 of chapter 22. If a man takes a wife and goes into her and then hates her and accuses her of misconduct and brings a bad name upon her, saying, I took this woman, and when I came near her, I did not find in her evidence of virginity. Then the father of the young woman and her mother shall take and bring out the evidence of her virginity to the elders of the city in the gate. And the father of the young woman shall say to the elders, I gave my daughter to this man to marry, and he hates her. And behold, he has accused her of misconduct, saying, I did not find in your daughter evidence of virginity. And yet this is the evidence of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloak before the elders of the city. Then the elders of that city shall take the man and whip him. And they shall fine him 100 shekels of silver, and give them to the father of the young woman, because he has brought a bad name upon a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not divorce her all his days. But if the thing is true, that the evidence of virginity was not found in the young woman, then they shall bring out the young woman to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her to death with stones, because she has done an outrageous thing in Israel by whoring in her father's house. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. If a man is found laying with the wife of another man, hold on. Let me write that down. Hold on. Deuteronomy 22. Let's go 13 to 22. 13 to 22. If a man is found laying with a wife of another man, both of them shall die. The man who lay with the woman and the woman, both of them shall die, period. The man who lay with the woman and the woman, so you shall purge the evil from evil. If there is a betrothed virgin and a man meets her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out to the gate of that city, and you shall stone them to death with stones. The young woman, because she did not cry for help, though she was in the city, and the man, because he violated his neighbor's wife. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. But if in the open country a man meets a woman who is betrothed, and the man seizes her and lies with her, then only the man who lie with her shall die. But you shall do nothing to the young woman. She has committed no offense punishable by death. For this case is like that of a man attacking to murder his neighbor. Because he met her in the open country, and though the betrothed young woman cried for help, there was no one to rescue her. If a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, and they are found, then the man who lay with her shall give to the father of the young woman 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has violated her. He may not divorce her all his days. A man shall not take his wife's wife. A man shall not take his father's wife, so that he does not uncover his father's nakedness. Sheesh. I mean, just the whole chapter. Just the rest of it. Let's just go chapter 13 all the way to 30. Might as well. Yeah, 13 to 30. No one of whose testicles are crushed, for those male organ is cut off, shall enter the assembly of the Lord. No one born of a forbidden union may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. None of his descendants may enter the assembly of the Lord. No Amorites or Moabites may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. None of them may enter the assembly of the Lord forever, because they did not meet you with the bread and with the water on the way when you came out of Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam the son of Beor from Pethrum of Mesopotamia to curse you. But the Lord your God will not listen to Balaam. Instead, the Lord your God turned the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loved you. You shall not seek their peace or their prosperity all your days forever. You shall not abhor any Edomites, for he is your brother. You shall not abhor any Egyptian, because you were a sojourner in his land. Children born to them in the 3rd generation may enter the assembly of the Lord. When you are encamped against your enemies, then you shall keep yourself from evil. You shall keep yourself from evil, from every evil thing. If any man among you becomes unclean because of nocturnal emission, then you shall go outside the camp. He shall not come inside the camp, but when evening comes, he shall bathe himself in the water. As the sun sets, he may come inside the camp. You shall have a place outside the camp. You shall go out to it, and you shall have it travel with your tools. And when you sit down outside, you shall dig a hole with it and turn back and cover up your excrement. Because the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and to give up your enemies before you. Therefore your camp must be holy, so that he may not see anything indecent among you and turn away from you. You shall not give up to his master a slave, who has escaped from his master to you. He shall dwell with you in your midst, in the place that he will choose, within one of your towns, and whatever it suits him. You shall not wrong him. None of the daughters of Israel shall be cult prostitutes. None of the sons of Israel shall be cult prostitutes. You shall not bring the fee of a prostitute or the wages of a dog into the house of the Lord your God in payment for any vow, for both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God. You shall not charge interest on loans to your brother, interest on money, interest on food, interest on anything that is lent for interest. You may charge a foreigner interest, but you may not charge your brother interest, that the Lord your God may bless you in all that you undertake, and the land that you are entering to take possession of it. If you make a vow to the Lord your God, you shall not delay fulfilling it, for the Lord your God will surely require it of you, and you will be guilty of sin. But if you refrain from vowing, you will not be guilty of sin. You shall be careful to do what has passed your lips. What has passed your lips? For you have voluntarily vowed to the Lord your God what you have promised with your mouth. If you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat your fill of grapes, as many as you wish, but you shall not put any in your bag. If you go into your neighbor's standing grain, you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not put a sickle to your neighbor's standing grain. Wait, what? So if you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat your fill of grapes, but don't gather any. Don't put it in your bag. You may eat as much as you want, but don't start stocking up. Chapter 25 of Deuteronomy. When a man takes a wife and marries her, if she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some indecency in her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of his house, and she departs out of the house, and if she goes and becomes another man's wife, the latter man hates her and writes her a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of his house, or if the latter man dies, who took her to be his wife, then her former husband who sent her away may not take her again to be his wife after she has been defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord. And you shall not bring sin upon the land that the Lord your God is giving you for inheritance. Wait, what? I gotta write this down. I don't even know what it means. 24, 1, 2, 4. When a man is newly married, he shall not go out with the army or be liable for any other public duty. He shall be free at home 1 year to be happy with his wife whom he has taken. No one shall take a mill or an upper millstone in pledge, for that he would be taking a life in pledge. If a man is found stealing one of his brothers of the people of Israel, and if he treats them as a slave or sells them, then the thief shall die. So you shall purge the evil from your midst. Take care in a case of leprous disease to be careful to do according to all that the Levitical priest shall direct you as I command them, so you shall be careful to do them. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam on the way as you came out of Egypt. When you take your neighbor a loan of any sort, you shall not go into his house to collect his pledge. You shall not stand outside, and the man to whom you make the loan shall bring the pledge out to you. And if he is a poor man, you shall not sleep in his pledge. You shall restore to him the pledge as the sun sets, that he may sleep in his cloak and bless you. And it shall be righteousness for you before the Lord your God. You shall not oppress a hired worker who is poor and needy, whether he is one of your brothers or one of the sojourners who are in your land within your towns. You shall give him his wages on the same day before the sun sets, for he is poor and counts it, lest he cry against you to the Lord and you be guilty of sin. Fathers shall not be put to death because of their children, nor shall children be put to death because of their father. Each one shall be put to death for his own sin. You shall not pervert the justice due to the sojourners or to the fatherless, or take a widow's garment in pledge, But you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. Therefore I command you to do this. When you reap your harvest in your field and forget a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be for the sojourners, the fatherless, and the widow, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the works of your hands. When you beat your olive trees, you shall not go over them again. It shall be for the sojourners, the fatherless, and the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, you shall not strip it afterward. It shall be for the sojourners, and the fatherless, and the widow. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I command you to do this. So that's chapter 24. Deuteronomy 25. If there is a dispute between men and they come into court and the judge decides between them, acquitting the innocents and condemning the guilty, then if the guilty man deserves to be beaten, the judge shall cause him to lie down and be beaten in his presence with the number of stripes in proportion to his offense. 40 stripes may be given him, but not more, lest if one should go on to beat him with more stripes than else, your brother be degraded in your sight. 40. Deuteronomy 25. Let's just go 1 to 3. 1 to 4. Let's go 1 to 4. Let's go 1 to 4. You shall not muzzle an ox when it is treading out the grain. That's it. If a brother dwells together and one of them dies and has no son, the wife of the dead man shall not be married outside the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her as his wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. And the first son whom she bears shall succeed to the name of his dead brother, that his name may not be blotted out of Israel. And if the man does not wish to take his brother's wife, then his brother's wife shall go up to the gate to the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to perpetuate his brother's name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of a husband's brother to me. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak to him. And if he persists, saying, I do not wish to take her, then his brother's wife shall go up to him in the presence of the elders and pull his sandals off his foot and spit in his face. And she shall answer and say, so shall it be done to the man who does not build up his brother's house. And the name of the house shall be called in Israel, the house of him who had his sandals pulled off. The house of him who had his sandal pulled off. That's interesting. Let's go that. Deuteronomy 25, 5 to 10. When men fight with one another, and the wife of the one draws near to rescue her husband from the hand of him who is beating him, and puts out her hands and seizes him by the private parts, then you shall cut off her hand. Your eye shall have no pity. Okay. That's very interesting. Deuteronomy 25 is coming in clutch here. 25:11 to, let's go to 13. You shall not have in your bag 2 kinds of weights, a large and a small. You shall not have in your house 2 kinds of measure, a large and a small. A full and a fair weight you shall have, a full and a fair measure you shall have, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. For all who do such things, all who act dishonestly, are an abomination to the Lord your God. Remember what Amalek did to you on the way as you came out of Egypt, how he attacked you on the way when you were faint and weary and cut off your trail, those who were lagging behind you and did not fear God. Therefore, when the Lord your God has given you rest from all your enemies around you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance and to possess, you shall not blot out the memory of Amalek from under the heaven. You shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. You shall not forget. Wait, what? You shall not forget. Oh, just to like, that's so crazy. That's so crazy, bro. Cut off her hand. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you for an inheritance, and have taken possession of it and live in it, you shall take some of the first of all the fruits of the ground, which you have harvested from your land that the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall put it in the basket. You shall go to the place that the Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell there. And you shall go to the priest who is in office at the time and say to him, I declare today to the Lord your God that I have come into the land that the Lord swore to our fathers to give us. Then the priest shall take the basket from your hand and set it down before the altar of the Lord your God, and you shall make response before the Lord your God. A wandering um, Aramean was my father, and he went down into Egypt and sojourned there. Few in number, there he became a nation great and mighty and populous. And the Egyptians treated us harshly and humiliated us, humiliated us, and laid on us hard labor. Then we cried to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our voice and saw our affliction, our toil, our oppression. And the Lord brought us out of Egypt with mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great deeds of terror, with signs and wonders. He brought us into this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And behold, now I bring the first of the first fruit of the ground, which you, O Lord, have given to me. You shall set it down before the Lord your God and worship before the Lord your God. And you shall rejoice in all the good that the Lord your God has given to you and to your house, you and the Levites and the sojourners who is among you. When you have finished praying all the tithe of your produce in the third year, which is the year of tithing, giving it to the Levites, the sojourners, the fatherless, and the widow, so that you may eat within your towns and be filled, then you shall say before the Lord your God, I have removed the sacred portion out of my house. And moreover, I have given it to the Levites, the sojourners, the fatherless, the widow, according to all your commandments that you have commanded me. I have not transgressed any of your commandments, nor have I forgotten them. I have not eaten of the tithe while I was mourning, or removed any of it while I was unclean, or offered any of it to the dead. I have obeyed the voice of the Lord my God. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven, and bless your people and the ground that you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, and a land flowing with milk and honey. This day the Lord your God commands you to do these statutes and rules. You shall therefore be careful to do them with all your heart, with all your soul. You have declared today that the Lord is your God, that you will walk in his ways and keep his statutes and his commandments, his rules, and will obey his voice. And the Lord has declared today that you are a people for his treasured possession, as he has promised you that you are to keep all his commandments, that he will set you in praise and in fame and in honor high above all nations that he has made, and that you shall be a people holy to the Lord your God, as he promised. Now Moses and the elders of Israel, are we actually done with all these laws? We might be done with the laws now. So Deuteronomy chapter 27. And now Moses and the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep the whole commandment that I command you today. And on the day you cross over the Jordan to the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall set up large stones and plaster them with plaster. And you shall write on them all the words of this law. And when you cross over to enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as the Lord the God of your father has promised you, then you have crossed the Jordan. When you have crossed the Jordan, you shall set up these stones concerning which I command you today on Mount Ebal, and you shall plaster them with plaster. And there you shall build an altar to the Lord your God, an altar of stone. You shall view no iron tool on them. You shall build an altar to the Lord your God of uncut stones, and you shall offer burnt offerings on it to the Lord your God, and you shall sacrifice peace offerings, and shall eat there, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, and you shall write on the stones all the words of this law very plainly. Then Moses and the Levitical priests said to all Israel, keep silent and hear, O Israel, this day you have become the people of the Lord your God. You shall therefore obey the voice of the Lord your God. Keep his commandments and statutes which I command you today. That day Moses charged the people, saying, when you have crossed over the Jordan, these shall stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people. Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Judah, Benjamin, these shall stand on Mount Ebal for the curse. Reuben, Gash, Asher, Zebulun, Naphtali, Dan, and the Levites shall declare to all the men of Israel in a loud voice, cursed be the man who makes a carved or cast metal image, an abomination to the Lord, a thing made by the hands of a craftsman, and sets it up in secret. All the people shall answer and say, Amen. Cursed be anyone who dishonors his father or his mother, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who moves his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who misleads a blind man on the road, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who perverts the justice due to the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who lies with his father's wife, because he has uncovered his father's nakedness, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who lies with any kind of animal, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who lies with his sister, whether the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who lies with his mother-in-law, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who strikes down his neighbor in secret, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who takes a bribe to shed innocent blood, and all the people shall say Amen. Cursed be anyone who does not confirm the words of this law by doing them, and all the people shall say Amen. So that was Deuteronomy chapter 27. A lot of reading there. A lot of reading. Oh, so we are an hour and 6 minutes in, and I think we got about 12 more chapters to read. About 12 more chapters to read. Let me see here. Well, actually, we might have like 13 more. Let me see here. Yeah, 13 to 34. So we have about, yes, 6. Yeah, we have about 12 more chapters to read. All right, chapter 28, 130. Ooh, chapter 38 has 68 verses. Blessings for obedience. That's a good one. That's a good title. Blessings for obedience. Deuteronomy 28. Blessings for obedience. And if you faithfully obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments that I commanded you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth, and all their blessings shall come upon you and overtake you. If you obey the voice of the Lord your God, blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the field. Blessed shall the fruits of your womb, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your herds, the young of your flock. Blessed be your baskets and your kneading bowls. Blessed shall be when you come in, and blessed shall be when you go out. And the Lord cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before you. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command the blessings on you in your barns and in all that you undertake, and he will bless you in the land that the Lord your God has given you. The land will establish you as a people holy to himself, as he has sworn to you. If you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways, and all the peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord will make you abound in prosperity, in the fruit of the womb, and in the fruit of your livestock, in the fruit of your ground, within the land that the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open to you this good treasury, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, to bless all the works of your hands. And you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. The Lord will make you head and not the tail. You shall only go up and not down, if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, being careful to do them. And if you do not turn aside from any of the words that I command you today, to the right hand or to the left, or go after other gods to serve them. And if you do not turn aside from any of the words that I command you today, to the right or to the left to go after other gods to serve them. So this is the blessing aspect. Like God's like, if you do my commandments, if you do everything that I commanded you, this is what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna bless you in your field, in your vineyard, just grain, first fruits. I'm gonna bless you in all these areas, right? But then there's another side to it. Curse for disobedience, right? There's always a cursing and a blessing and a cursing. And you shall not be the tail. Wait, what did it say? You shall not be the tail. No, you shall. The Lord will make you the head, not the tail. All right, verse 15 of chapter 28 of Deuteronomy. If you will not obey the voice of the Lord your God, be careful to do all his commandments and his statutes that I command you today, then all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall be you in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field, and cursed shall be you baskets in your kneading bowls. Shall be your basket and kneading bowls. Cursed shall be the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your ground, the increase of your herds and the young of your flocks. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and frustration in all that you undertake to do, until you are destroyed and perish quickly on account of the evil of your deeds, because you have forsaken me. The Lord will make the pestilence stick to you until he has consumed you off the land that you are entering to take possession of it. The Lord will strike you with wasting disease and with fever, inflammation, fiery heat, with drought, with blight, and with mildew. They all pursue you until you perish. And the heavens over your head shall be bronze, and the earth under you shall be iron. The Lord will make the rain your land powder from heaven. Dust shall come down on you until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and you shall be honored. You shall be a whore to all the kingdoms of the earth, and your dead bodies shall be food for all the birds of the air and for the beasts of the earth, and there shall be no one to frighten them away. The Lord will strike you with the boils of Egypt, and with tumors, scabs, and itch, of which you cannot be healed. The Lord will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion of mind, and you shall grope at noonday as the blind grope in the darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and only op- you shall only oppress you shall only oppress and rob continually, and there shall be no one to help you. You shall betroth a wife, but another man shall ravish her. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but you shall not enjoy its fruit. Your oxen shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you shall not eat any of it. Your donkey shall be seized before your face, but shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, but there shall be no one to help you. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, while your eyes look on the fail with longing for them all day long, but you shall be hopeless. A nation that you have not known shall eat up the fruits of your ground and of your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed continually, so that you are driven mad by the sights that your eyes see. The Lord will strike you on the knees and on the legs with grievous boils, of which you cannot be healed from the sole of your foot to the crown of your head. The Lord will bring you and your king, whom you set over you, to a nation that neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone, and you shall become a whore, a proverb, and a byword among all the peoples where the Lord will lead you away. You shall carry much seed into the field, and shall gather in little, for the locust shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards and dress them, but you shall neither eat, you shall neither drink of the vine, nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. You shall have olive trees throughout all your territory, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for your olives shall drop off. You shall fathers you shall father sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. The crickets shall possess all your trees and the fruits of your ground. The sojourners who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down and lower. He shall lend you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. All these curses shall come upon you and pursue you and overtake you till you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes that he commanded you. They shall be a sign and a wonder against you and your offspring forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joyfulness and gladness of heart, because of the abundance of all things. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you in hunger and in thirst and nakedness and lacking everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation against you from far away from the end of the earth, swooping down like the eagle, a nation whose language you do not understand, a hard-faced nation who shall not respect the older or show mercy to the young. It shall eat the offsprings of your cattle and the fruit of your ground until you are destroyed. It also shall not leave you grain, wine, or olive, the incense, the increase of your herds, or the young of your flock, until they have caused you to perish. They shall besiege you in all your towns until your high and fortified walls in which you trusted come down throughout all your land. And they shall besiege you in all your towns throughout all your land, which the Lord your God has given you. And you shall eat the fruits of your womb, the flesh of your sons and daughters, whom the Lord your God has given you, in the siege and in the distress with which your enemies shall distress you. The man who is the most tender and the refined among you will begrudge food to his brother, to the wife he embraces, to the last of the children whom he has left, so that he will not give to any of them any of the flesh of his children whom he is eating, because he has nothing else left. In the siege and in the distress with which your enemy shall distress you in all your towns, the most tender and refined woman among you, who would not venture to set the sole of her foot on the ground, because she is so delicate and tender, will begrudge to the husband she embraces, to her son, to her daughters, her afterbirth that comes out from between her feet, and her children whom she bears, because lacking everything she will eat them secretly in the siege and in the distress with which your enemy shall distress you in your towns. If you do not carefully do all the words of this law that are written in this book, you may fear this glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God. Then the Lord will bring on you your offspring's extraordinary afflictions severe and lasting, and sickness grievous and lasting. And he will bring upon you again all the diseases of Israel, of Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. Every sickness also and every affliction that is not recorded in the book of this law, the Lord will bring upon you until you are destroyed. Whereas you were as numerous as the stars of the heavens, you shall be left few in number, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God. As the Lord took delight in doing you good and multiplying you, so the Lord will take delight in bringing rain upon you and destroying you. And you shall be plucked off the land that you are entering to take possession of it. And the Lord will scatter you among all people from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone, which neither you nor your fathers have known. And among these nations you shall find no respite, and there shall be no resting place for the sole of your foot. But the Lord will give you there a trembling heart and failing eyes and a languishing soul. Your life shall hang in doubt before you. Night and day you shall be in dread and have no assurance of your life. In the morning you shall say, if only it were evening, and at the evening you shall say, if it only it were morning, because of the dread that your heart shall feel, and the sight that your eyes shall see. The Lord will bring you back in ships to Egypt, a journey that I promised that you should never make again. And there you shall be, and you shall offer yourselves for sale to your enemies, as males and female servants, but there will be no buyer. Holy moly. So I just read the. Ugh. So it seems like there's a lot more. So it seems like you lose more than you gain here. It seems like that, because the blessing part, it's only in about. There's only a little bit of the blessing part. There's literally 14 verses, God describing the blessings that he's going to give to the people of Israel if they keep his commandments. But then for the rest of the chapter, the rest of the verses, about 40 verses, God just hammers and just like describes all this bad things that will happen. Like literally bad things that will happen if the children of Israel stray away from the commandments of him. And it just goes on and on and on. Holy moly. Chapter 29 of Deuteronomy. That was super long. Deuteronomy 28. 68 verses, super long. Holy moly. That probably took me like 10 minutes just to read. Okay. These are the words of the covenant that the Lord commanded Moses to make with the people of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant that he had made with them at Horeb. And Moses summoned all Israel and said to them, You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to his lands. The great trials that your eyes saw, the signs, those great wonders. But to this day the Lord has not given you a heart to understand, or eyes to see, or ears to hear. I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes have not worn out on you. Your sandals have not worn out your feet. You have not eaten bread. You have not drunk wine or strong drink, that you may know that I am the Lord your God. And when you come to this place, Sihon the king of Heshbon and Og the king of Bashan came out against you to battle, but we defeated them. We took their land and gave it for an inheritance to the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manassites. Therefore keep the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You are standing today, all of you, before the Lord your God, the heads of your tribes, your elders, your officers, all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and the sojourners who is in your camp, from those who chops your wood to the ones who draws your water, so that you may enter into the sworn covenant of the Lord your God, which the Lord your God is making with you today, that he may establish you today as his people, and that he may be your God as he promised you, and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob. It is not with you alone that I'm making this sworn covenant, but with whoever is standing here with you today, before the Lord our God, and with whoever is not here with us today. You know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the midst of the nations through which you passed, and you have seen their detestable things, their idols of wood and stone, of silver and of gold, which were among them. Beware lest there be among you a man or a woman or a clan or a tribe whose heart is turning away today from the Lord your God to go and serve the gods of these nations. Beware lest there be among you a root bearing poison and bitter fruit, one who, when he hears the words of this sworn covenant, blesses himself in his heart and says, I shall be saved, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart. This will lead to the sweeping away of moist and dry alike. The Lord will not be willing to forgive him, but rather the anger of the Lord and his jealousy will smoke against that man, and the curses and the curses written in this book will settle upon him, and the Lord will blot out his name from under heaven, and the Lord will single him out from all the tribes of Israel for calamity, in accordance with all the curses of the commandments written in this book of the law. And the next generation, your children who rise up after you, and the foreigners who come from a far land, will say, when they see the afflictions of that land and the sicknesses with which the Lord has made it sick, the whole land burned out with brimstone and salt, nothing sown and nothing growing, where no plant can sprout, and overthrown like that of Sodom and Gomorrah, Adamon and Zephaim, which is the Lord overthrew in his anger and wrath. All the nations will say, why has the Lord done thus to this land? What caused the heat of this great anger? Then people will say, it is because they abandoned the covenant of the Lord, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought out of the land of Egypt, and went out and served other gods and worshipped them, gods whom they had not known, whom he had not allotted to them. Therefore the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land, bringing upon all the curses written in this book. And the Lord uprooted them from their land in anger and fury and great wrath, and cast them into another land, as they are this day. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things that are revealed belongs to us, to our children, forever, that we may do all the words of this law. So that was chapter 29. So we're getting close to the end of Deuteronomy. We're getting very close. Very, very, very close. All right, guys, we got like 4 pages, and then we're done with the book of Deuteronomy. Let's go. Let's finish though. And when all the things come upon you, the blessings and the curses, which I've set before you, and you call them to mind among all the nations where the Lord your God has driven you, and return to the Lord your God, you, your children, obey his voice in all that I command you today, with all your heart, with all your soul, then the Lord your God will restore your fortunes and have mercy on you, and he will gather you again from all the people where the Lord your God has scattered you. If your outcasts are in the uttermost parts of heaven, from there the Lord will gather you, and from there he will take you, and the Lord will bring you into the land that your fathers possessed, that you may possess it. And he will make you more prosperous and numerous than your fathers. And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your offspring, so that you will love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, that you may live. And the Lord your God will put all these curses on your foes and enemies who persecute you. And you shall again obey the voice of the Lord and keep all his commandments that I've commanded you today. And the Lord your God will make you abundantly prosperous in all the work of your hand, in the fruit of your womb, and in the fruit of your of your cattle, and the fruit of your ground. For the Lord will again take delight in prospering you, as he took delight in your fathers, when you obey the voice of the Lord your God, to keep his commandments and his statutes that are written in this book of the law, when you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul. For this commandment that I've commanded you today is not hard for you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that you shall say, we will ascend to heaven for us and bring it to us that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea that you shall say, we will go over the sea for us and bring it to us that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very near to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart, so that you can do it. See, I have set before you today life and good, death and evil. If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God that I have commanded you today, by loving the Lord your God, by walking in his ways, by keeping his commandments and his statutes and his rules, then you shall live and multiply, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land that you are entering to take possession of it. But if your heart turns away, you will not hear, but are drawn away to worship other gods and serve them. I declare to you today that you shall surely perish, and you shall not live long in the land that you are going over the Jordan to enter and possess. I will call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that you and your offspring may live, loving the Lord your God, obeying his voice and holding fast to him, for he is your life and length of days, that you may dwell in the land that the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give to them. So that is Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, that's right, Deuteronomy 27. Uh, 31. So Moses continued to speak these words to all Israel, and he said to them, I am 120 years old today. I am no longer able to go out and come in. The Lord has said to me, you shall not go over this Jordan. The Lord your God himself will go over before you. He will destroy these nations before you, so that you will possess it. And Joseph and Joshua will go over at your head, as the Lord has spoken, and the Lord will do to him as he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, into the land when he destroyed them. And the Lord will give them over to you, and you shall do to them according to the whole commandment that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:5. Be strong and courageous. No. Deuteronomy 31:6. Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in the sight of all people, be strong and courageous, for you shall go with this people into the land that the Lord has sworn to his fathers to give them, and you shall put them in possession of it. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed. Deuteronomy 31:8. Then Moses wrote this law and gave it to the priests, sons of Levi, who carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them at the end of every 7 years, at the set time in the years of release, as at the feast of booth, when all Israel came to appear before the Lord your God at the place that he will choose, you shall read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Assemble the people, men, women, little ones, and the sojourner within your towns, that they may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God and be careful to do all the words of this law, and that their children who have not known it may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God as long as you live in the land that you are going over the Jordan to possess. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, the day approach when you must die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tent of meeting that I may commission him. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tent of meeting. And the Lord appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood over the entrance of the tent. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, you're about to die. You're about to lie down with your fathers. Then this people rise and whore after the foreign gods among them in the land that they are entering, and they will forsake me and break my covenant that I made with them. Then my anger will be kindled against them in the day, and I will forsake them and hide my face from them, and they will be devoured. And they will be devoured, and many evil and troubles will come upon them, so that they will say in that day, have not these evil come upon us, because our God is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in that day, because of all the evil that they have done, because they have turned their other gods. Now therefore write these songs and teach it to the people of Israel. Put it in their mouth, that this song may be a witness for them against the people of Israel. For when I brought them out into the land flowing with milk and honey, which I swore to give to their fathers, that they have eaten and are full and grown fat, they will turn to the other gods and serve them and despise me and break my commandments. And when many evil and troubles have come upon them, this song will confront them as a witness, for it will live unforgotten in the mouths of their offsprings. For I know what they're inclining to do even today, before I brought them into the land that I swore to give them. So Moses wrote this song the same day and taught it to the people of Israel. And the Lord commissioned Joshua the son of Nun and said, be strong and courageous, for you shall bring the people of Israel into the land that I swore to give them. I will be with you. When Moses had finished writing the words of this law in the book to the very end, Moses commanded the Levites who carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, take this book of the law and put it by the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against you. For I know how rebellious and stubborn you are. Behold, even today, while I'm yet alive with you, you have been rebellious against the Lord. How much more after my death? Assemble to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you will surely act corruptly and turn aside from the way that I have commanded you. And in the days to come evil will befall you, because you will do what is evil in the sight of the Lord, provoking him to anger through the works of your hands. Then Moses spoke the words of this song until they were finished in the ears of all the assembly of Israel. And we are going to take a break. We are going to take a break. But what time is it? Is it already 2? It's already 2. Gosh, dang, I still have a bunch of chapters to read. Ah. Ooh. All right. We are back, y'all. We are back. So, chapter 32, Moses' prayer. And it has 52 verses. And then chapter 33 has a bunch. So we got to finish up here. 32, 33, 34. Let's get to it. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak, and let earth hear the words of my mouth. May my teachings drop as the rain, my speech distill as the dew. My speech still as the dew, like gentle rain upon the tender grass, and like showers upon the herb. For I will proclaim the name of the Lord, and ascribe greatness to our God. The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are justice. A God of faithfulness and without iniquity. Just and right is he. Just and upright is he. They have dealt corruptly with him. They are no longer his children, because they are blemished and they are cooked. They are crooked and twisted generation. Do you thus repay the Lord, you foolish and senseless people? Is not your Father who created you, who made you and established you? Remember the days of old. Consider the use of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you. Your elders, they will tell you. When the Most High gave to the nations their inheritance, when he divided mankind, he fixed the borders of the people according to the numbers of the sons of God. But the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob, his allotted heritage. He found him in desert land and in the howling waste of the wilderness. He encircled him, he cared for him, he kept him as an apple of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest, like that flutters over its young, spreading out his wings, catching them, bearing them on his pinions. The Lord alone guided him. No foreign God was with him. He made him ride on the high places of the land, and he hated the prudence of the prudent product of the field, and he suckled him with honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, curbs from the herd, and milk from the flock, with fats of land, rams of Bashan, and og, and goats, with the very finest of the wheat, and you drank foaming wine made from the blood of the grapes. But Jeshurun grew fat and kicked. You grew fat, stout, and sleek. When you forsook God who made him, he scoffed at the rock of his salvation. They stirred him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed to demons that were no gods, to gods they had never known, to new gods that had come recently, whom your fathers had never dreaded. You were unmindful of the rock that bore you, and you forgot the God who gave you birth. The Lord saw it, and it spurned them because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for they are a perverse generation, children in whom is no faithfulness. They have made me jealous they have made me jealous with what is no God. They have provoked me to anger with their idols. So I will make them jealous with those who are no people. And I will provoke them to anger with the foolish nation. For a fire is kindled by my anger, and it burns to the depths of my shield, devours the earth in its incense and its increase, and it sets on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will keep heaps, disasters upon them. I will send my arrows on them. They will be wasted with anger and devoured by plagues and poisonous pestilence. I will send the teeth of beasts in against them, with the venom of things that crawl in the dust. Outdoors the sword shall bereave, and indoors tear. For young and women alike, the nursing children with the man of gray hairs. I would have said, I will cut them to pieces. I will wipe them from human memory. Had I not feared provocation by the enemy, lest their adversaries should misunderstand, lest they should say, our hand is triumphed. It was not the Lord who did all this, for they are a nation void of counsel, and there is no understanding in them. If they were wise, they would understand this. They would discern their latter days. How could one have chased 1,000 and two have put 10,000 to fight, unless their rock had sold them, and the Lord have given them up? For their rock is not as our rock. Our enemies are by themselves. For their vine comes from the vine of Sodom and from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of poison. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of serpents and cruel venom of asp. Is not this laid up in store with me, scale, sealed up in my treasuries? Vengeance is mine, and recompense for the time when their foot shall slip. For the days of their calamity is at hand, and their doom comes swiftly. For the Lord will vindicate his people and have compassion on his servants, when he sees that their power is gone and that there is none remaining, bond or free. Then he will say, where are their gods, the rock in which they took refuge? Who are the fats of their sacrifice and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise and help you. Let them be your protection. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God beside me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. There is none that can deliver. There is none that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven, and I swear as I live forever, if I sharpen my flashing sword and my hands take hold of judgment, I will take vengeance on my adversaries, and I will repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour them with the blood of the slain and the captives from the long-haired heads of the enemy. Rejoice with them, O heavens. Bow down to him, all gods, for he avenges the blood of his children and takes vengeance on his adversaries. He repays those who hate him and cleanses his people's land. Moses came and recited all of these words in the hearing of the people, he and Joshua the son of Nun. And when Moses had finished speaking all these words to Israel, he said to them, take to heart all the words by which I am warning you today, that you may command them to your children, that they may be careful to do all the words of this law. For it is no empty word for you, but your very life. And by this word you shall live long in the land that you are going over the Jordan to possess. That very day the Lord spoke to Moses, go up this mountain of Abram, Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, opposite Jericho, and view the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel for a possession. And die on the mountain which you go up, and gather to your people, as Aaron and your brother died in Mount Hor, and has gathered to his people, because you broke faith with me in the midst of the people of Israel at the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because you did not treat me as holy in the midst of the people of Israel. For you shall see the land before you, but you shall not go there, into the land that I'm going to give to the people of Israel. So Moses dies on the Mount Nebo. And die on the mountain which you go up. So Moses dies on Mount Nebo, I guess. So Moses dies on Mount Nebo. Oh. Take a little break. Chapter 33, Deuteronomy. It's already 2:06. We're good. Chapter 33 of Deuteronomy. Maybe you, man, and you, Luke. So Moses has one more and then he dies. This is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, blessed the people of Israel before his death. He said, the Lord came from Sinai and dawned from Seir upon us. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came from the 10,000s of holy ones with flaming fire at his right hand. Yes, he loved his people. All his holy ones were in his hand. So they followed in your steps, receiving direction from you. When Moses commanded us a law as a possession for the assembly of Jacob, thus the Lord became king in Jeshurun, when the heads of the people were gathered, all the tribes of Israel together. Let Reuben live. Let Reuben live and not die, but let his men be few. And this he said of Judah, Hear, O Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him to his people. With your hands contend for him, and be a help against his adversaries. And of Levi he said, Give Levi your Thummim and your Urim to your godly ones, whom you tested at Massa, with whom you quarreled at the waters of Meribah, who said of his fathers and mothers, I regard them not. He disowned his brothers and ignored his children, for they observed your word and kept your covenant. They shall teach Jacob your rules and Israel your law. They shall put incense before you and a whole burnt offerings on your altar. Blessed, O Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands, and crush the loins of his adversaries, of those who hate him, that they rise not again. Verse 12. Pause. Verse 12. Of Benjamin he said, The beloved of the Lord dwells in safety. The high God surrounds him all day long, and dwells between his shoulders. And of Joseph he said, Blessed be the Lord, be his land, with the choicest gifts of heaven and above, and of the deep that crouches beneath, with the choicest fruits of the sun, and the rich yield of the months, and with the finest produce of the ancient mountains, and the abundance of the everlasting hills, with the best gifts of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwells in the bush. May these rest on the heads of Joseph, on the pate of him who is prince among his brothers. A firstborn bull, he has majesty, and his horns are the horns of a wild ox. With them he shall gore the peoples, all of them to the ends of the earth, and they are 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are thousands of Manasseh. And of Zebulun he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in your outgoing, and you're going out, and Issachar in your tents. They shall call people to the mountains. There they shall offer right sacrifices, for they draw from the abundance of the seas and the hidden treasures of the sand. And of Gad he said, Blessed be who enlarges Gad. Gad crouches like a lion. He tears off arms and scalps. He chooses the best of the land for himself, for there's a commander's portion was reserved. And he came with the heads of the people, and with Israel he executed the justice of the Lord and his judgment for Israel. And of Dan he said, Dan is a lion's cub that leaps from Bashan. And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, sated with favor and full of blessings of the Lord, possess the lake and the south. And of Asher he said, Most blessed of sons be Asher. Let him be the favorite of his brothers, and let him dip his foot in oil. Your bars shall be iron and bronze, and your days shall be your strength. Shall your strength be. There is none like God, O Jeshurun, who rides through the heavens to your help, through the skies in his majesties. The eternal God is your dwelling place, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he thrust out the enemy before you and said, Destroy. So Israel lived in safety. Jacob lived alone in a land of grain and wine, whose heavens drop down dew. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord, the shield of your help and the sword of your triumph. Your enemy shall come frowning to you, and you shall tread upon their backs. So that is chapter 33. And we have the last chapter in Deuteronomy. Holy moly. Let's just finish it. Let's finish this. Okay, so the last chapter in Deuteronomy, chapter 34. Then Moses went up from the mountains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Misgah, which is opposite Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land, Gilead as far as Dan, all Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the western sea, the Negev and the plain that is the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees as far as Zor. And the Lord said to him, This is the land of which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. I will give it to your offsprings I have let you see it with your eyes, but you shall not go over there. So Moses, the servant of God, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord, and he buried him. Wait. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord, and he buried him in the valley in the land of Moab, opposite Peth-peor. But no one knows the place of his burial to this day. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes was undimmed, and his vigor unabated. And the people of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. Then the days of weeping and mournings for Moses were ended. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. So the people of Israel obeyed him and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. And there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, none like him for all the signs and the wonders that the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his lands, and for all the mighty power and all the great deeds of terror that Moses did that Moses did in the sight of all people. So we just finished the book of Deuteronomy. Holy moly, we just finished the Pentateuch. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. We just read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy in a matter of a week. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy right now, man. This is awesome. This is actually awesome. Let's get to it, man. This is great. Man. I'm actually completing this challenge. I'm actually about to complete this challenge. Man, let's eat some food though. I'm freaking hungry. Let's take a break. We actually competed. The 5 books. Wow. So we just finished the Pentateuch. I think it's called the Pentateuch. Let me actually search it again. The Pentateuch. My Wi-Fi is being so iffy. The first 5 books of the Bible considered the Pentateuch. So we just read the Pentateuch. We just completed the Pentateuch in 8 days. 7 days because I started on Monday, last week. And we've been grinding every day. Well, honestly, after completing the Pentateuch, I read that pretty quick. From 13 to 34, that's about 19 chapters. And it's only an hour and six. I mean, it's almost been 2 hours. Almost. So about 20 chapters in 2 hours. That's not bad. Especially reading Deuteronomy. I'm very happy. Very happy. All right. Joshua chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' assistant, Moses, my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all the people, into the land that I am giving to them, to the people of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you, just as I promised to Moses. From the wilderness and to this Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites to the great sea, toward the going down of the sun, shall be your territory. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you or forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their fathers to give them. Imagine being that guy. Imagine being Joshua, right? Like you have Moses, like one of the greatest prophets, God, like the one of the greatest prophets of all time, right? Like God literally spoke to Moses. And now you are the guy that brings the people actually to that final destination. Like imagine, man. That'll be crazy. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to do according to all the law that Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn aside from it to the right or to the left, for that you may have good success wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and that you will have good success. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And Joshua commanded the officers of the people, pass through the midst of the camp, the midst of the camp, and command the people, prepare your provisions. For within 3 days you are to pass over this Jordan to go and to take possession of the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. And to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, remember the word that Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, the Lord your God is providing you a place of rest and will give you this land. Your wives, your little ones, your livestock shall remain in the land that Moses gave you beyond the Jordan, but all the men of valor among you shall pass over armed before your brothers and shall help them until the Lord gives rest to your brothers as he has to you. They also take possessions of the land that the Lord your God is giving them. Then you shall return to the land of your possessions and shall possess it, the land that Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise. And they answered Joshua, all that you have commanded, as we will do, and whatever you send us, we will go. Wherever you send us, we will go. Just as we obeyed Moses in all these things, so we will obey you. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Whoever rebels against your commandments and disobeys your word, whatever you commanded him shall be put to death. only be strong and courageous. Sheesh. So that was Joshua chapter 1. So they're going into the promised land. They're crossing the Jordan. Man, that would be so exciting. It's like, let's go. We've been waiting for like 70 years for this. Finally, we're going over. And Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 men secretly from Shittim as spies, saying, go view the land, especially Jericho. And they went and came to the house of a prostitute, whose name was Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told that the king of Jericho, behold, men of Israel have come here tonight to search out the land. Then the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, bring out the men who have come to you, who entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them, and she said, true, the men came to me, and I did not know where they were from. And when the gates was about to be closed at dark, the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly, for you will overtake him. Take him. But she had brought them up to the roof and hid them with the stalks of flax that she had laid in order on the floor. So the men pursued after them on the way to Jordan as far as the fords, and the gate was shut as soon as the pursuers had gone out. Before the men lay down, she came up to them on the roof and said to them, I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and Og, whom you devoted to destruction. And as soon as we heard it, our hearts melted, and there was no spirit left in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in the heavens above and on earth beneath. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that as I have dealt kindly with you, you also will deal kindly with my father's house, and give me a sure sign that you will have saved, a sure sign that you will save alive my father and my mother, my brother, sister, and all who belong to me, and deliver our lives from death. And the men said to her, our life for yours, even to death. If you do not tell this business of ours, then when the Lord gives us the land, we will deal kindly and faithfully with you. Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was built into the city wall, so that she lived in the wall. And she said to them, go into the hills, or the pursuers will encounter you, and hide there 3 days until the pursuers have returned. Then afterwards you may go your way. The men said to her, we will be guiltless with respect to this oath of yours that you have made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, you shall tie this scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down, and you shall gather into your house your father, your mother, your brothers, all your father's household. Then if anyone goes out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood shall be on his head, and we shall be guiltless. But if a hand is laid on anyone who is with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head. But if you tell this business of ours, then we shall be guiltless with respect to your oath that you have made us swear. And she said, according to your words, so be it. Then she sent them away, and they departed, and she tied the scarlet cord in the window. And they departed and went to the hills, and remained there 3 days until the pursuers returned. And the pursuers searched all along the way and found nothing. Then the 2 men returned, and they came down from the hills and passed over and came to Joshua the son of Nun, and they told him all that had happened. And they said to Joshua, truly the Lord has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of us. So everyone's scared. Everyone is scared of the Israelites because they heard all these signs. When Joshua rose early in the morning, they sent out from Shittim, and they came to the Jordan, he and all the people of Israel, and lodged there. Before they passed over, at the end of 3 days, at the end of 3 days, the officers went through the camp and commanded the people, as soon as you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God being carried by the Levitical priests, then you shall set out from your place and follow it. Yet there will be a distance between you and it, about 2,000 cubits in length. Do not come near it, in order that you may know the way you shall go, for you have not passed this way before. Then Joshua said to the people, consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. And Joshua said to the priests, take up the ark of the covenant and pass on before the people. So they took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. The Lord said to Joshua, today I will begin to exalt you in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that I was with Moses, so I will be with you. And as for you, command the priests who bear the ark of the covenant, when you come to the brink of the waters of the Jordan, you shall stand still in the Jordan. And Joshua said to the people of Israel, come here and listen to the words of the Lord your God. And Joshua said, here is how you shall know that the living God is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Gershites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. Behold, the ark of the covenant, Lord of all the earth, is passing over before you into the Jordan. Now therefore, take 12 men from the tribes of Israel, from each tribe a man, and when the soles of the feet of the priests bearing the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off from the flowing, and the waters coming down from above shall stand in one heap. So when the people sat out from their tents to pass over the Jordan with the priests bearing the ark of the covenant, before the people, as soon as those bearing the ark had come as far as the Jordan, the feet of the priests bearing the ark were dipped in the brink of the water. Now the Jordan overflowed all its banks throughout the time of harvest. The waters coming down from above stood and rose up in a heap very far away at Adam, the city that is beside Zarethan, and those flowing down toward the sea of the Arabia, the salt sea, were completely cut off, and the people passed over opposite Jericho. Now the priests bearing the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firmly on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan, and all Israel was passing over on dry ground until all the nations finished passing over the Jordan. So this is like a part two. This is like a part two of God is opening up and parting the Jordan River. And when all the nations had finished passing over the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, Take 12 men from the people of each tribe, a man, and command them, saying, Take 12 stones from here, out of the midst to the Jordan, from the very place where the priest's foot stood firmly, and bring them over with you, and lay them down in the place where you lodge tonight. Then Joshua called the 12 men from the people of Israel, whom he had appointed, a man from each tribe. And Joshua said to them, Pass on before the ark of the Lord your God into the midst of the Jordan, and take each of you a stone upon his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the people of Israel, that this may be a sign among you. When your children ask in time to come, what do these stones mean to you? Then you shall tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord when it passed over the Jordan. The waters of the Jordan were cut off, so these stones shall be to the people of Israel a memorial forever. And the people of Israel did as Joshua commanded, and took up 12 stones out of the midst of the Jordan, according to the number of the tribes of the people of Israel, just as the Lord told Joshua. And they carried them over with them to the place where they lodged, and laid them down there. And Joshua set up 12 stones in the midst of the Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests bearing the ark of the covenant had stood, and they are there to this day. For the priests bearing the ark stood in the midst of the Jordan until everything was finished, that the Lord commanded Joshua to tell the people, according to all that Moses had commanded Joshua. The people passed over in haste, and when all the people had finished passing over, the ark of the Lord and the priests passed over before the people. The sons of Reuben and the sons of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh passed over, armed before the people of Israel, as Moses had told them. About 40,000 ready for war passed over before the Lord for battle to the plains of Jericho. On that day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all people, and they stood in awe of him, just as they stood in the awe of Moses all the days of his life. And the Lord said to Joshua, Command the priests bearing the ark of the testimony to come up out of the Jordan. So Joshua commanded the priests, Come up out of the Jordan. And when the priests bearing the ark of the covenant of the Lord came up from the midst of the Jordan, the soles of the priests were lifted up, and on dry ground the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and overflowed all its banks as before. The people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and they encamped at Gilgal on the east border of Jericho. And those 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan, Joshua set up at Gilgal. And he said to the people of Israel, When your children ask their fathers in times to come, What do these stones mean? Then you shall let your children know, Israel passed over this Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan for you until you passed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up for us until we passed over. so that all the people of the earth may know that the hand of the Lord is mighty, that you may fear the Lord your God forever. That is reading chapter 7. I mean, it's day 7, but it's reading 8 because we started on Monday. We completed day 7. I mean, we completed day 8. We completed the Pentateuch. We got into Joshua. Man, we are completing this. This is actually crazy. I can't believe I'm actually into this process because guys, like going into this like challenge, I was like, man, I have to be disciplined because like I'm gonna have to be disciplined and set a timer and read in a specific time because I have to work and stuff, so I have to work around that. So like me completing day 8, like we just read Deuteronomy 13 to 34, and then we went from Joshua chapter 1 to 4. Man, like this feels good. I'm not gonna lie. This having met them? Well, it's obviously this actually feels awesome, and obviously we're only a week in. We still have we still have 1 week. We still have like 3 weeks left. So like we still have work to do here. We really do. We still have work to do here. But man, completing day number 8 it feels good. It really does. It really feels good. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. And guys, like make sure like y'all are liking and subscribing this. Share it with people and just give me like what you guys think of like me reading like a chunk of the Bible in a month, right? Because the Old Testament has 39 books. The New Testament has 27. So like most of the Bible is composed in the Old Testament, right? But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching this. And yeah, I guess that's all I have for you guys. Make sure that y'all stay tuned. Make sure you guys stay tuned for day number 9 tomorrow. And we're going to continue reading Joshua and see how God carries out his promise as they are entering the promised land. Joshua is that guy now. Moses died. So Joshua is that guy, the person that God's using, the commander of Israel. So as we go deeper into, we go further away from the Pentateuch, we're going to start seeing God doing some of these things that he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So yeah, make sure y'all stay tuned for the rest of this. I appreciate it.